Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hook on Henshins. So today we're finally reviewing the Kamen Rider Vail miniseries. I've been waiting. I'm sure you guys have as well to hear what I have to say about it. But I've been waiting to all 5 episodes are out to talk about the whole thing, as a thing as a whole. The whole series as a whole. Don't mind my hair being goofy. Anyway, uh, so I would say overall that I really enjoyed it. Um, I think it was a little better than some of the Toei Tokusatsu fan club content we've gotten, but it still has that same hallmark of clearly they were, I wouldn't say rushed, but they're only given like a certain amount of time to film these. So there's only so much they can really do and so much they can really explain, and so many henshin sequences and things like that. Um, the good points, though, definitely loved seeing a younger Genta and Yukimi. I thought that was really strong. I think their relationship is well put together and well developed throughout the series. Um, we'll get back to this in a little bit, but I thought it was odd that in the closing credits of every episode, you see them getting married, but we don't see that happen within the miniseries, which I thought was a little weird, but it's fine. Um, so the main setup with it is Genta's real name is Junpei something, and we find out that he is a scientific subject for this place called the Noah Foundation, which we hear a little bit about in Revice, but now we get more about them. They're kind of the precursor to Phoenix, essentially. And Daddy Karazaki is part of it, George's dad, of course. Um, and Masumi, I think is his name, whatever. Daddy Karazaki is what I call him. So he's part of it. He's leading the research for it. Um, and Junpei slash eventually Genta, which we'll get to why he's called Genta, um, is actually, I thought was a nice little nod. He's actually Subject 71, as in 1971 when Ichigo premiered. So I thought that was a cute little Ichigo nod, being the 50th anniversary and all. Of course they're going to do that. But anyway, so he has some kind of a horrible accident, like a biking accident, something like that, where he gets really badly hurt. And so he's like near death, and so they take him and they experiment on him, and they do the whole, bringing out the demon thing with him, and it heals him, yes, but it jogs his memory, and he messes with his memory, and he doesn't remember who he was, and he's used as basically to transform into Kamen Rider Vail to destroy these failed experiments. So the first episode we see him, it's a pretty brutal miniseries, I would say, more brutal than Revice, not as brutal clearly as something like Amazon's, but definitely a little more dark and graphic than what we've gotten so far in Revice, which I think makes sense for his character, for who Vail is, for who Genta was, and for who Genta is now. Um, so first episode we have him fighting a failed experiment, and that's when he figures out that they're all like people basically, and that's when he tries to turn against his captors. Doesn't really work out for him very well, but he tries. And I think it's like the second episode or something like that when he finally meets Yukimi Igarashi, and they start to fall for each other, or at least she does for him at first and him eventually for her. And she's like not scared of him, and wants to help him. He doesn't maybe know what his name is, so she comes up with the name Genta and starts calling him that, and he likes it and wants to go by it because he doesn't know what his name is. All he does remember is that his family was killed. Come to find out, Vail is the one who killed his family. So not only did Vail murder Genta's original, his actual mom and dad, but he tried to set fire to the whole bathhouse. So I think that was pretty crazy too. But anyway, we get this really nice back and forth with him and Vale, where at first it seems, and we know better, but it seems like Vale's like, oh yeah, we're gonna be doing some good things out there. We're gonna help me take out these villains. Let's go wild and take out these monsters, these failed experiments. He just wants to kill because he's Vale. That's what he does. And he realizes that pretty soon, but doesn't know he's caught between a rock and a hard place of using Vale's power, but knowing in doing so it'll make him more brutal, more demonic, more uh, animalistic, aggressive. Um, at one point, him and Yukimi get captured, and they're in the Noah Foundation building or whatever. And they have this whole scene where they're in two different prison cells. There's a wall between them, and you're seeing them on each side. They're talking to each other, kind of reflecting what each other is saying, and they do a hand on each side of that kind of thing. It was corny, but I mean, it works for them. They have always, I think, had a really cute relationship as far as being mom and dad in the actual show. So seeing that form here is really cool. Um, and we also get introduced to Busan as a soldier for Noah, and that he's part of some resistance trying to infiltrate and figure things out about them, I think. And he ends up being one of their comrades who ends up escaping with them eventually. But Throughout it, we also get a good amount with Daddy Karazaki, starting out more along the lines of being fine with what they're doing, and then realizing that what he's now been a part of is starting to like cause, harm to people, and all of that. So I think you start to see what makes him into the Daddy Karazaki we see later, who forms Weekend. Um, and so as the episodes go, again, we get more with it is a lot really about Yukimi and Genta. So we get a lot of time with them interacting, them also interacting with Busan, a little bit with Vail here and there, him figuring out Vail's a monster and a psychopath, and eventually the one who killed his family. Um, and it ends it. It's pretty cool. Episode 5 was kind of cool because he actually transforms and fights Vail. Vail like comes into like a full, solid form, and fights him. Vail tells him, "Well, if you defeat me, that's it for you too." Which I think is interesting that that's how it's set up. Because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to go back and watch it, but I'm pretty sure that Ikki kind of held the same thing to ultimatum to Vice, that if I die, then you'll die as well. So I wonder if that's vice versa. Like if Vail were to somehow kill Vice, or somebody were to kill Vice, would that also affect Ikki? Would that hurt Ikki? Kill Ikki? What would it do? Maybe he said it goes both ways. I don't know for sure, but Vail for sure is saying that if I die, you die, and essentially Genta's like, well, fuck it. Like at least I'm taking myself out, who have committed all these crimes, and you've also, you're also out of the picture. And throughout it, we also see in the episodes, Yukimi breaking through to Genta and telling him to stop, like hold himself back from, fully killing somebody, or just not being as aggressive. He doesn't have to be. And he's kind of learning all over again how to be a human, how to live, how to talk, how to breathe, how to just, be in the moment and not think about who's my next target, who am I fighting, let's transform. It is cool to see the Henshin sequence a bunch. And the younger actor they got to play Genta as a younger guy was, I think, a pretty good cast. He looks just like him and what I would expect Genta would look like younger. So that was a good casting. Um, I believe the mom is played by the actress who played Hammy, Chameleon Green from Key Ranger. So she does a good job too as Yukimi. I think I really liked her performance overall. And she's the current owner of the spa and everything, and they have a nice little back and forth little thing. Um, and yeah, so he ends up fighting Vail at the end of it. Doesn't destroy him, but like heavily injures him. And then George Karazaki's dad, was it Masumi Karazaki, whatever, Daddy Karazaki, has just finished building the Demon's Driver. And he's like, you guys need to go. The whole place is coming down. I think like at one point the Noah Foundation director tries to be a part of it, and he gets like, I think Vail goes up to him and like puts his fist through his chest, which is just funny. It's like, fuck is the point of it? It honestly kind of reflected me how much I don't give a shit about Akaishi. We'll get to him in a minute. Um, so anyway, so he Daddy Karazaki holds up the Demon's Driver and presses some button on it, and it ends up like absorbing Vail into it. That's how we get the setup of the Demon's Driver later, having Vail in it, just clearly dormant. Um, and the whole place comes down. Genta transforms, dehensions or whatever, and he's kind of knocked unconscious. I think from the shock of defeating Vail has kind of affected him. And we also get a scene right after that where he's in a hospital with Yukimi by his side, saying, he's like, oh, who are you? And she's like, I'm your wife, and blah, blah, blah. And, we're going to have a life together. And then it does here and there also kind of flash a little bit to like current time with Yukimi and Genta. And it paints it in an interesting light, because now you look at it and you see the secret she had to keep from the family and how horrified she was to see what was happening on that first episode, not only with the demons and the dead man and whatever, but also like seeing Vice and seeing Ikki and Ikki transforming. Like it must have brought back a lot of trauma. And even in those moments, when you look at it now, when it focuses on her, you can tell, yeah, she's scared dirt like a normal person would be. Oh my god, monsters! But even more so because she's probably thinking, oh, please, please don't let this be the life for our kids too. So it adds a lot of depth to her and to Genta, honestly, as well. And I've always liked both their characters, so I think that's great. Um, so he absorbs it. As he's doing it, Vail is all flying all over the place and, flailing and, being an ass. And, like, somehow, like, kind of sets on fire as he does it, like the power of Vail being absorbed. And that's what I think almost kills him and, like, damages his face and everything, and why he wears the mask. Um, and he even mentions at some point about, oh, my son George is so smart and he'll surpass me, blah, blah, blah. So I like that kind of a nod to who George will become as well. But yeah, so like I said, he does end up defeating Vail. Vail goes into the driver, and then they escape with Busan, and they end up like doing like a surgery on his face to change what it looks like a little bit, I guess. But again, we get in the credit sequences seeing the wedding between Yukimi and Genta, but that never happens in the series. And then all of a sudden, in the very end, she says that she's his wife. I don't know if she was getting him used to that, and then eventually they really did fully get married or what. It's kind of like the trappings of it being only 5 episodes. If it would have had 6 or 7, maybe it would have had more time for things to show a few more things, and not feel like so rushed. Because I will say one downfall with it is that the pacing is really fast. It doesn't start out too fast, but about episode 3, it just right to the end. I think a few more episodes would have made it like make a bit more, not a bit more sense. It would have fleshed it out a little bit more, and how to helped it tie up a little more neatly to Revice as a whole. But it's still a really fun series. We also get like a random like after credit sequence, um, where Akaishi picks up the demon driver and then like smiles sinisterly, you know. So again, that just kind of fills in some information of, oh, it's, he found the driver, and that's how we're setting everything up for, Phoenix and all that, which is cool. But again, the problem with Akaishi, in my opinion, is he's introduced way too late. We don't ever see him until like episode 20 or whatever it was, and he's supposed to be established as this possible threat. But it takes so long for us to reveal that he's in any way demonic at all. And then when he is, it's like, I don't care, because we didn't have enough time with him. He's just over here in the background, like, yes, I'm the new director now, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually it's like, I'm also evil. And it's like, okay, introduce him episode 1, or maybe even, honestly, it would have been gutsy, but can you imagine if this would have come out before the show? If the Vail series would have come out before the show itself? And that's what we got with our first Revice content, was the Kamen Rider Vail miniseries. Would have been kind of cool. But again, so like I said, if it would have had like maybe 2-3 more episodes, I think it would have been perfect. As it is, I would say probably would give it a strong, going out of 10 like I do, probably like a strong, like an 8.5, I would say. It's still worth it to watch. If you're a fan of Revice, you've been loving the episodes of the series, even though it's been had kind of a, I would say, a rocky 30s right now. Not nearly as rocky as uh what's it called, 01 got in parts, clearly, but a kind of a rocky 30s. I would still say to check it out. It definitely does fill in some gaps. It's cool to kind of see the backstory, see the Vail suit again. I don't know if we're ever going to see it again. As far as scans go, we do know what the final form looks like for Revy and Vice, and it's possible Aromi's coming back. We don't know for sure, but it's a possibility. I'm still holding out hope myself, because screw Hikaru. Not the actor, just the character. Um, but yeah, so probably a strong 8.5 out of 10. I think I really enjoyed it. I think I had a good time with it. It was cool to see the younger people playing, younger actors portraying the characters in their earlier days, and seeing the relationship build between Genta and Yukimi. And again, it would have made better with that if there was a few more episodes to show that, like a snippet of them actually getting married, like they do in the credit sequence, or just something else to kind of tie a little more neatly. And it also begs the question of how Vail was able to get out enough to be there to set the bathhouse on fire when he tried to, and clearly Vice stopped him or whatever, or helped stop him or get them out or whatever. That's kind of muddy as well. We don't really it doesn't really make any sense, because if he's sealed into the Demon's Driver at the time of the Vail series, well, what does that mean even? Because like he was at one point, but then he just like left the driver when he felt like it. So I don't know. Is he like stronger once he like, is he like in a depowered state, and then he gets stronger when he absorbs life force from Hiromi? Is that what we're doing? I don't. Again, there's a few things that are kind of muddy there. Their details. But overall, it's fun. It was a fun series. I like that there was like a precursor to Phoenix. Getting to see the Vail suit again was awesome. I like the Vail suit and the Demon's Driver. Of course, I own it. So yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. But let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of the Kamen Rider Vail miniseries? Coming up pretty soon, I'm hoping I'll be getting some more Robotar gears. Or not more, the Robotar gear set. So for Dan Momotaro, Kiji brother, Sawa brother, Inu brother, and Oni sister, they're Robotar gears. So I'll try to do a Tokuto review of that and some other stuff I've gotten recently. A friend of mine, Zio Agato, follow him on YouTube and on Twitter if you can. Really great reviewer, does a lot of really cool videos, not even just Toku, lots of stuff, henshin videos, a bunch of stuff. Might be doing a collaboration with him about Revice and how we feel about where we're at in the 30s and where things are going to go in the series going forward. Still trying to work out some details, but just want to let you guys know it's a possibility. I don't know for sure, but he's a really cool guy, super duper smart, and really, really like knows his stuff about Toku. So I'd be glad to collaborate with him, absolutely. So look out for that, hopefully pretty soon. We'll see. I don't know exactly when that's happening. But thank you so much for liking, for commenting, subscribing. sharing the video, watching, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys so much. But until next time, use the hook tensions. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.